My void will consume you, if you ask nicely.
Your will is no longer your own.
Stay away from the voodoo. To us!
You have led the horde to a place without honor.
Your petty quarrels only make me stronger.
Our world needs us, champion.
You got you over your head.
We cannot let the world fall to darkness.
We're already lost.
Put your faith in the light, and all is possible.
Is it truly righteousness that drives you? I wonder.
It would seem you have guessed.
They are coming for you. This is the Whispers of War.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 89. I'm your host Sil, and let's jump into how was my week in Warcraft. Of course it's all about the leveling. I leveled my baby paladin. I didn't think I was going to manage it, if I'm honest, and that sounds very overly dramatic, but I really am not a fan of Hydro, and that is where you are taken at level 80. So I thought, okay, well, let's just do Hydro. Luckily, you know, when you can fly, it goes a lot quicker. You don't have to run through all the paths and everything. So, you know, you can skip a lot of time. Did that. And then all of a sudden, I thought 80 to 85 was a little bit of a slog, quest-wise. And then after that, 85 to 90 went super quick. Now, fair enough, I think it was 88 when I got sent to Pandaria. And honestly, you only do like a few quests. You don't even finish one area. It's really, you do the invasion start quests. Then you save a few Pandaren. I think for the Horde it's the Hosen. And that's really it. That's all I did. And then I was 90 and it said, okay, you have to Hearthstone back now and go to Draenor. And yeah, I think I will be happy when the leveling experiences change in Shadowlands, because I just feel like Pandaria really doesn't get the love now that it deserves. Which, you know, it is the quickest way of leveling, and I think in this point of time, I don't think a lot of people want to take their time anymore with leveling. You know, maybe some people do, but I certainly don't, because I have plenty more alts to level. So yeah. I just thought, okay, well, Pandaria is definitely on the list in Shadowlands if I want to level something new. But I thought the last 5 levels towards 90 went so quick. Now, I went to Draenor with one of my rogues a while ago, and I thought that leveling process went also really quick. Like, it was within like a few hours that I almost hit 98. I think I'm 98. So it goes really quick in Draenor, and I think I might actually stay there a bit longer just because of the bonus objectives. I feel that that would not be a bad thing to just faff around a bit more in Draenor. I know that after that comes Legion. I have nothing against Legion. It's a really solid expansion, but it's too fresh. It's like going through 110 to 120. I don't really want to do it, but I will. Just because I have to. I mean, there's different ways, you know. I don't have to do the storyline, but there's different ways of doing it. So I'll do that. And I was thinking in Legion, maybe I can try and see if I can just push for the class or the whole quests and not really do anything else. I'm not quite sure if the game will force you to go to certain areas and follow a certain quest pattern that you have to unlock before you unlock something in the class order hall. I'm not entirely sure, but I have it in my head now as well that I wouldn't mind unlocking all the quest order halls and the mounts with that, just because, I don't know, I think I miss a little bit of that class identity in Battle for Azeroth. I don't really feel like there's a class identity at the moment. Like I've said in certain interviews, it just It feels like, okay, well, it's all mail or it's all leather. There's not really like a distinct, okay, this is for shaman, this is for hunters or druids or rogues. It all just feels a bit samey. And I miss that you had that in Legion, that at least, you know, you were in your class order hall. And from the older expansions that you had like specific gear just for your class. So, yeah, that's where I'm struggling with at the moment. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But like I said, I have lots to level. I already know there's one allied race I have a little bit of issues with leveling, and that's the Colterans. And I have nothing against their models. It just doesn't appeal to me because it's another human. And you could say, yeah, but orcs, that's another orc. You know, the Magor orcs, or the High Mountain Tauren, that's another Tauren. But still, it's a human. And I find humans boring as they are anyway. So I'm a little bit like, yeah, okay, I guess. And I'm leveling a priest as well as a Colteran. I don't know if that was a smart move at all, because I am not particularly fond of healing. So I don't know if I need to reroll her, maybe. Yeah, I have to think about that. I can already say that priest is, for me, my least favorite class. I really do not enjoy it. So yeah, I have to ponder about that one. Anyhow, there's going to be, if you don't want to hear anything about Shadowlands, and trust me, I have not played for the alpha yet, and I'm a very bad tester. I keep thinking, okay, I'm going to do it today, and I'm like, well, I need to level. I will do it, because I want to try some things out, and I want to see how the classes work, really. Because that's a big thing. But I want to talk a little bit about customization options in Shadowlands and what has been shown in the alpha. So if you don't want to hear about that, I would skip a few minutes until the interview starts. So anyhow, I've seen a lot of videos out there now about the customization for our characters, and I am going to have such issues, guys, with character creation, because I know that we're all going to be able to change our characters probably at the barbershop anyway when the game launches, but there are so many more options now. Because I just looking at the Tauren that I've seen, they look amazing, and I was always the one who went a bit like, Tauren, not really my thing. And then I saw a female Tauren, and they gave her a fringe, or in American bangs, that cover her eyes. So I always get that feel like, oh yeah, it's like what you see with yaks in cartoons and stuff. And she had a flower in her hair, and you could give her a side braid with flowers, and I just really loved it. And I was like, oh, I do need a Tauren for, you know, for the heritage gear. And then I thought, but with this customization, she will look even better. And I know that this is not the only character that's getting like an amazing customization, because like I just said, I find humans really boring. However, we're getting different races now for humans, and that actually makes me more excited to play them, because I can actually customize them. And I don't know, this is going to be so hard. I'm going to make it so difficult for myself. But I'm also really excited about it. I feel like this is going to be like a bit of fresh, like a breath of fresh air for the game, at least for me, because I am such an alcoholic that I really, really enjoy creating characters and making stories for them. Whether or not I RP with them is a different thing, because even though I have stories, I don't RP with all of them. But the stories are there just in case I'm like, yeah, this character is going to be RP'd with now. But I need more character slots. 50 is not enough, and I refuse to buy 2 accounts. I'm not going to pay 2 subscriptions, and I want all my stuff on one. I don't want to, you know, have different logins and all that stuff. I just want one account, but I want more slots. I'm happy to pay for it as well. So if Blizzard says, you know, you can have another 50 if you pay us, I don't know, $25, sure. I don't give a shit. I'll pay that. I'm such a consumer whore. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Anyhow, that's a bit of the spoiler of just too many customizations, and it looks amazing. But I will leave you now with a very, very cool interview I had with Nux, and it's mostly about community and what it's like streaming in the community and all of that. And I'll come back after with the question of the week about community and what the community has meant to you. And yeah, I'll see you on the flip side, so enjoy the interview. And with me today, I'm being joined by a brand new voice, someone who is on my continent, well, almost, because, you know, I'm set in an island, but he's on the mainland, as we like to say. Welcome, Nux.
Hello, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and what you do on the internet?
Okay, so I am a Twitch streamer mainly. I stream World of Warcraft these days. I do have a YouTube channel, which I don't use that much. And yeah, that's about it. I'm a collector in World of Warcraft, so that's what I'm streaming. I'm collecting stuff. That's about it.
Oh, nice. Okay. What made you want to go into streaming?
There's a funny story behind that, because I think a lot of this conversation will come down to the fact that I started streaming Star Wars: The Old Republic, which is another MMO, and I started just because I saw that literally everybody in the game is streaming. So I said to myself, why don't I just give it a try? And there used to be a joke. I used to be in a guild, and there used to be a joke that it's a streamers guild because everybody in the guild was streaming for some reason. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Okay. How long have you been streaming for now?
It's been over 2 years, I believe, and I think I have something over 1,000 hours streamed, which is
Wow.
crazy when I say it out loud. Yeah.
That is impressive. That's very impressive. What is it that keeps you on the platform? Why do you keep streaming?
I mean, it's a hobby, right? It's like a free time activity, and most of it came to the fact that, like, for example, without going into detail, these days I don't really have that much to do because I'm not employed currently. So when I have so many hours streamed, and I stream pretty much every day, that doesn't mean that I am a full-time streamer with hundreds of viewers or something. It's just like I don't have anything going for me right now. So yeah.
Well, even so, I think, you know, the fact that you are streaming, there's still that connection to the outside world, which I think is really good. So you get that. But do you get a lot of like bounce from your chat, or
in what meaning? What do you mean?
In the sense that, do you get a lot of people who have a friendly chat with you in the stream, or is it more?
Yeah, it's actually in the World of Warcraft. I found out that people are actually amazed when you interact with them, because they are so used to watching big streamers or just people who stream Mythic Plus and PvP. They don't usually interact that much. And I had already a couple of people coming to the chat, and they are like, "Oh, you're nice. Thanks for being interactive. That's very cool of you. Thank you."
That's really good, really nice, because yeah, exactly what you say. There are a lot of like big time streamers out there. I'm not going to name names. I think people know who they are, and I don't even know if they listen to this podcast. But you know, often because there's like thousands of people in their chat, you see so much. It's just like a wall of text just flying by on the side, and I doubt anyone can really read that and have the time, because you know, most of the time some streamers are so busy with what they're doing that they don't really pay attention. So it's really nice to also get the streams that the streamers actually do pay attention to their chat and have that interaction. I think a lot of viewers enjoy that a lot. So yeah, no, I think that's really good of you.
Yeah, and we also do community runs constantly, so that is one thing as well. I think people kind of, it's simple psychology pretty much, that people want to stand out and people want to be in the spotlight. So if I can give it to them, I'm happy to do it. Why not?
Oh, cool. So, what do you do with the community runs? Is it like you bring them to like a dungeon, or?
So I have a cool story from yesterday actually about this.
Mm-hmm.
We set up the events. We are still a small community, but we are growing. Okay, I mean, 2 weeks ago we were 2, now we are 4. So there is some sort of progression in it. And fun fact, just yesterday we had an event because I have all the skips for all the raids. And one viewer joined. He wanted to get the chance on the mount, and he actually, I didn't get anything, but he actually got the mount from Hellfire Citadel, right? And that was kind of nice that he joined and he got it. And the thing is, he wanted to trade it to me. And now you can probably imagine what every streamer would do on Twitch when somebody is offering them a free mount. But for me, it was his personal loot. He got the mount, so he can keep it. He is the part of a community. As long as somebody in the community gets it, that's perfectly fine for me. I consider this victory, pretty much.
That's really cool. I like that. That's really nice. Yeah, I like that. So, at the end of the interview, we'll give the Twitch to everyone, and then who knows, you might get an even bigger community that might want to do stuff with you.
Yeah, we'll see. We already have a couple of people. We don't even know who they are, but they are there somehow. So maybe.
Good. Okay. Well, let's go back into World of Warcraft, because everything that people always want to know about every guest is, are you Horde or Alliance?
Just in case we don't start another BFA here. I kinda do have a feeling. Which one are you? Just in case I'm gonna ask.
Me, I'm bi-factional, but I play Alliance because my guild is Alliance.
Oh, you're Alliance. Okay, let me get my axe. Just give me a second. No. I'm Horde. So yeah, I'm Horde.
Okay, very cool. I mean, everyone who knows me knows that I love the trolls. So that's my race. If only I could put them in my guild, but unfortunately,
yeah, they're
not happening just yet.
They are actually one of the reasons why I joined Horde, because I used to be in Alliance when I started, but I find Alliance races boring. I'm sorry. And technically, when I started on Alliance, it wasn't even Alliance race, it was Pandaren, so it was a neutral race. And every time I was creating a new character, I was kind of like creeping on Horde, and I was thinking to myself, Jesus, these trolls, undead, everything that looks so cool. I would like to be that. And yeah, somehow it happened later on.
Yeah, I you know what? I completely agree with you. I think that the Horde has the better race. Sorry, no offense, Alliance, but I think the Horde has the better races. And if I could just convince my guild to go Horde, that would be like in a heartbeat. But it is the community, I guess, but which keeps you on where you're playing. Okay, so it was the Horde races that did it for you to become Horde. Have you dabbled at all in Alliance in BFA to see more of the story, or is it purely been Horde?
Well, I used to have this goal, this noble goal, that I want to level every single class to max level, right? And I wanted to do it on Horde, and I wanted to do it on Alliance as well. The problem is that once I did it on Horde, I got burned out. So I couldn't do it on Alliance, but I still do have a couple of characters on Alliance that I started. And I did play BFA on Alliance, but that was just because of the achievement. Because there is that achievement for completing the story on both factions, and I did it just because of that. So that's it.
Okay. I think that's a fair enough point. I think, people play the game for many different reasons. Some people really want to see all about the story, and other people are very much more about, this is for the game and I want to collect, or I want to achieve this with raid. So yeah, fair enough. Okay. What would you say is your main nowadays?
Definitely Unholy Death Knight.
Okay. May I ask which race as well, just to get a complete picture?
Undead.
Okay. Double whammy. Okay. So why Death Knight?
It's the only class that I feel, or spec that I feel as if it fits for me. I've been looking for a while. I tried different I'd try the different specs, and then I kind of settled down on Unholy. I don't know what it was. It's just I feel like I understand the rotation, I understand the abilities, so that was it.
Okay, I think that's fair enough. There's always one class that you mesh
Yeah.
with really well. Do you think you? I don't know how much you've looked into Shadowlands and the classes that they are changing. Maybe not. Some of them a bit more than others. Is definitely something that you're thinking of playing in Shadowlands, or do you foresee yourself jumping to a different class?
Yes, because Death Knights are gonna get one ability that's called Door of Shadows, and I believe that ability is literally the best thing that ever happened to Death Knights. That's no question.
Okay, I like that name. That's a very interesting name.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, that's easy then, because I know that some people, like myself, are still trying to figure out what to play for Shadowlands. So yeah, that's good. That saves you a lot of headache, I think. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of when you first started playing World of Warcraft. How did that happen?
So once again, it comes down to the previous MMO, which was Star Wars: The Old Republic. My guild master there, we became good friends, and he started playing other MMOs. He was playing Elder Scrolls Online at first, and then he kind of dragged me to play World of Warcraft with him. So that is my first touch with World of Warcraft. But I'm gonna be honest, I hated the game for the first 5 tries that I tried to level.
Okay. Why?
I don't know. It just felt well because. Have you ever played Star Wars: The Old Republic?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so you can compare the story there, the voice acting, the questing, and now you come from there to World of Warcraft where you have to read everything, right? So I was spoiled.
Yep.
I was a spoiled little child. I just couldn't bear it. Couldn't bear so much reading, and yeah, it got boring. But once I got to max level, I discovered there's a completely whole new world, and it kind of drew me in. That was amazing.
Okay, you know what? I can definitely see that, because if there's one thing that goes for the Old Republic, it is the voice acting. It is absolutely brilliant in that game, and I think the choices also make it much more like immersive. So I completely get where you're coming from. So which expansion did you join World of Warcraft?
It was the end of Warlords of Draenor. I think it was the very last patch, and I do have this theory that if you start an unpopular expansion, you generally like it more than other people, because I don't think at least the last phase, I don't think it was that bad. I actually kinda enjoyed it, but I sometimes I feel like it's just me, and it probably is. So yeah.
You know what? I think you could be right in the sense of that when you join a certain expansion, that is your favorite. So I
wouldn't say. I wouldn't call it favorite.
Well, at least you don't hate it as much as some of us do.
True.
Okay. Yeah, Warlords. At least most things were polished already. So that's a good thing. You haven't seen the ugliness that was Burning Crusade and all of that. But let's jump a little bit more back in time. So last year we were allowed to go back to Classic. Was that a thing that you were like, okay, I want to check out what it was like before I joined, or were you like, nah, I'm not touching that?
No, and I have a very good reason for it. Because it doesn't have Death Knights.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so you were like, you know what? Nah, I'm not interested at all.
I tried playing Warrior, but I mean, as you probably know, leveling Warrior in Classic is quite an experience. So I think
that's one way of naming it.
Yeah, so I think I made it to about level 11, and I was thinking of playing a shaman, but I stopped because I was scared that people are gonna force me to heal. Because I don't like healing. I can tank, but healing is completely outside, and I was scared that people are gonna force me to do it. So I'm not playing it. That's the reason.
And you know what? Yeah. I mean, I have to admit, back in the day, we had shaman tanks. I don't know if that was still something that they're doing at the patch that they released Classic. But it happened. But yeah, I do think that a lot of people want to change to heal. And I don't know. I don't know. A Classic is such a different beast.
Yeah,
from
I'm just gonna wait a couple of years for a classic Wrath of the Lich King, and then when Death Knights get released, I'll give it a try.
Just to see how Death Knights were back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, I kinda do remember it, because they used to have the rune system, the old one, and when I started playing DK, it still had the system. It was like during the end of Warlords. But they changed it pretty much in Legion. I think they completely changed the system. It's a very different class now. So,
are you happy with the change they've made? Because you were present for those changes. You were already playing. Well, do you feel that the class is going somewhere good, or?
Well, I don't know about the BFA, but in Legion, playing Unholy was hilarious because you could just apply Outbreak. You could pull half of the zone, apply Outbreak, let it spread to everybody else, and just go AFK. You could, I don't know, take a shower, watch a TV, and you came back and you were still alive and everything was dead. Just because like you clicked one ability. It was hilarious. Like when I said it sounds OP, but actually it was hilarious. I kinda miss it. Then they nerfed it. Now it's a little bit different, but yeah, there's still a lot of flying numbers, especially in AoE situations. So I guess it's fine. I think it's in a good spot right now.
Okay, how do you feel about the number crunch that they are basically doing? That we won't see like the big numbers anymore. Is that a big thing for you, or are you like, oh?
I don't really. This is something that I said on my stream. I remember a couple of years ago. It was during the first one. I think it was at the start of BFA, and I said that I don't mind the big numbers, but when I really think about it, Unholy is all about dots, and when you constantly see, I don't know, 10,000 damage, every single number that is flying around is 10,000, then it's weird. Right, when I really focus on it, it's just weird because it's too much. It's too much. It's too high. So it's fine. It's fine. If they want to lower it a little bit, that's fine. It's perfectly okay.
Okay, so let's talk about your current obsession in BFA. You already said that collecting is a big thing. What would you say is the thing you do in BFA right now?
Everything that is not BFA. So that means collecting old stuff. I wasn't always a collector. It's just when I found all the things add-on, I kinda realized, oh yeah, okay, so this gives me a purpose. Now I have something to do. Now I can try to complete. Now I can try to raise my percentage in the add-on. And I started farming all the raids, started farming the mounts, and well, there was still a lot to do. So yeah, that's why not much of PFA.
And I think, that's, as long as it's keeping you happy in the game, everyone plays the game as they want to. Is achievement hunting one of those things that you're also tying into a little bit?
Yeah, it involves everything. That means achievements, toys, pets, like I said, mounts, items, literally everything that I can collect, I'm trying to get, and I think it's the best way to do it is to find like-minded people, like I said, a community, and it makes it much more enjoyable when you have others to do it with.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, it really does feel a bit like a solo experience, doesn't it? Okay. What would you say is the one, or maybe a few things that you collected that you really like took your breath away, that you went like, wow, oh my god, it finally dropped, or I didn't expect this, or an achievement that popped, or...
Okay, just not to make you feel jealous or anything. Do you have Invincible, just in case?
Do I have what?
Invincible, the mount.
Okay, this was the end of the interview.
Aha. Okay. Well, I'm screwed.
Wow.
That means I'm screwed because the problem is I got Invincible in under 20 runs.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's probably like my biggest achievement.
I can imagine. That must have been so amazing just to see a drop.
It was, but then after that I released a video that said I got Invincible and nobody saw it because I didn't have anybody on the stream, right? So,
no!
Yeah, so it is kind of a bittersweet moment, but I guess it's fine. I guess it's great.
Hey, in the end you have the horse, so you know what?
Yeah, in the end I have it.
That's really cool. Any others of those that you were like, wow, how did that happen?
Well, I think, well, the funny thing is, I think it was an hour before that I got the mount from Blackrock Foundry, the destroyer. So it was literally 1 hour before that, and then I believe it was a couple of days later that I got Onyxia mount. And I'm not even joking when I say that I did Onyxia in under 10 times. So there was like was a very weird coincidences one after another somehow.
Honestly, I hope you bought a lottery ticket that week.
I
did.
See
how far you
I actually,
did.
yeah, if fun fact, I did, and that's because for whatever reason I keep receiving phone messages that invite me to some sort of a phone lottery, and
yeah.
It is every week on Tuesday or something like that, and I said, listen, I'm gonna send it, and I actually did, but I guess I didn't win because they didn't contact me. So yeah, well,
you used all your luck on mounts.
Used all the luck, true.
Okay, very, very cool. I like that. That gives me hope for if I ever want to start, torturing myself again and doing that. Okay, let's go to Shadowlands. So last year at BlizzCon, it was announced that we were going to get Shadowlands, which is supposed to be releasing at some point this year. We're now testing alpha. What were your feelings when they announced Shadowlands?
My feelings were summed up in one tweet. The tweet is still, if you try hard enough, you can find it. And it is under the trailer that they released, where Sylvanas pretty much, well, you know what happens. Yeah, let's not describe that again. And the comment says, watching this as a DK main really hurts, or something along those lines.
Oh.
And that comment got, I think right now sits at 350 likes or something like that, right? So it's the #1 comment under the video, and yeah, people are still pretty much like liking that comment and commenting under it. Somebody said, I thought being dead meant no more pain, or something like that. So yeah, that was my feeling summed up.
Okay. So maybe not what you would have hoped, but with everything that they've released now, is it something that you're looking forward to, or are you a little bit like, I don't like the direction that they've gone with?
I'm trying not to look at it, and the reason why that is because I'm mad at Blizzard for not giving me alpha access. So I refuse. And even though so we were talking about the luck with the drops before, but that was some time ago, and now recently I have a feeling as if I'm not lucky anymore. So I kind of have this suspicion that Blizzard knows that I'm a streamer. So I have this thing that's called streaming debuff. So I stopped getting the mounts, but apparently every streamer gets the alpha access. So where's mine? I don't drop the mounts, but I don't have the alpha. So yeah, so like I'm mad. I'm mad at them. That's why I'm not looking at Shadowlands that much.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the things that I can kind of make you jealous with, that I do have alpha access.
I have Invincible.
We're just flexing against that. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay. So with Shadowlands coming out at some point, and you know, a big thing that they've pushed is the covenants. Do you know which covenant you'll be picking with your Death Knight?
Yeah, that's something that I already mentioned. It's I think it's the Ventir covenant.
Yeah.
That has the Door of Shadows ability, and it's basically because when I'm farming old raids, DKs are kinda infamous for the lack of mobility, right? They are one of the slow classes, and every time I was farming old raid or something, I was thinking to myself, how great would this be with some sort of maybe a leap ability or charge-like ability? And they actually added Door of Shadows is basically like a leap for warriors, right?
Oh, wow.
Which is amazing. So the moment they announced that, I stopped caring about, I don't care about transmog, mounts, I don't care about lore. I need that ability because every time I'm running raids now, I dream, I have this dream in my mind. I'm dreaming to the future and I imagine myself with the ability, and that's amazing.
You know what? You're actually really right with that, because the only thing that I didn't enjoy about playing a Death Knight was because it felt very slow. Like with Warlocks, it felt a bit slow. So that is actually, that would make a big difference to the class if they can just leap. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is why I was always wishing for some sort of a charge, because you might argue that if you give them charge, then they have pull, you know, so like you would have a pull and a charge, and you would think that it's OP or something, but they did it in... There used to be this class. It's funny because Death Knights seem like a merge of two classes from Star Wars: The Old Republic, and what they did with one class, it has a pull, but they also added a charge, and you would think it is OP, but it actually isn't. Like, it actually flows just fine. It's not overpowered or anything. It's great. So that's why I was always wishing for some sort of like I used to play Overwatch. And Reaper has a teleport ability, so something like that teleport, basically, something like that. I think it would fit.
I think it makes sense anyway, because no matter how you spin it, I think a lot of classes that can charge also have something that can pull. Maybe not like how Death Knights can do it, but it's still something to get the attention from a mob from far away.
Yeah.
So no, I get that it's about balance, isn't it? Which is Blizzard always seems to have some issues with, according to everyone.
Balance? What is that?
That's another kind of an opening.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you would level any other characters in BFA, would you put them in different covenants just to see what the abilities are, or are you really like, okay, no, it depends on what the ability is, and that will fit best for this class, because like your Death Knights, it doesn't have that certain ability?
It probably depends on transmog and mounts, because the thing is, since I'm trying to collect everything, I will probably not switch from one covenant to another, so I will need at least one more plate character to do the other covenants to collect the transmogs. So, but lore-wise, I think the Ventur are fine lore-wise from what I've seen. I don't know. Like I said, I don't look at it that much. And maybe Maldraxxus. I was thinking the first moment when I saw Maldraxxus, I was like, oh yeah, cool. So bones, skulls, edgy, and everything. So yeah, that's me. But yeah, then I saw the ability and that it got solved. Yeah, so Ventur.
Okay, fair enough. If you are going to level right from the start, because that's changing a little bit now with Shadowlands, so we're not getting just the level squish, we're also getting a completely overhaul on how quickly we level and how we level as well. So say that you're rolling a completely new class. I'm not even talking Death Knight, but just something new. Will you be going then by expansion and you're like, okay, you know what, this is a monk that I'm leveling now, and I just want to do Pandaria because that fits? Or are you going to go, you know what, I am leveling whatever, and I just want to go to Wrath of the Lich King because that is my favorite expansion? I'm just saying something. How would you pick if you have to start leveling something?
I think I would pick according to achievements, because I'm still missing some lore master achievements. And I used to have a system for it when I was leveling other classes. Like I mentioned, I used to have a goal to level everything to max level. When I was leveling them, I always went to a different zone just to complete the zone to get an achievement. The problem is that it gives you, right now, it gives you space to maybe complete one zone, and then you will over level. Then it's fast, right? But with this new system, at least you will be able to choose. I don't know, I'm missing I think I'm missing Pandaria or something, so I can choose Pandaria, and there I can finish the zone, and maybe even the other one. I don't know how fast it is. Apparently it's fast, I heard. I don't know. Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
But hopefully it gives me the chance to just straight up skip, because like I said, right now you do one zone, which means a zone in from the classic ones, and only then you can choose Pandaria or Lich King, and it doesn't really give you that time window needed to complete the zone.
Okay, that's actually a very interesting point of view, because I hear a lot of people say, oh yeah, I can finally go and do the whole of the storyline for this. But actually thinking of an achievement point of view, I didn't realize that, yeah, there's also a lot of stuff that you skip because of how you level nowadays. That's a very interesting point of view.
Yes, story-wise, I don't know, because my problem is that even though I like the overall story of the zones or expansions and everything, I just have a feeling I start reading the quest. This all comes down to, once again, the previous MMO, and I start reading the quest and I'm thinking to myself, man, this feels like, what am I doing? Because all they are saying most of the time is, we need you to go kill those 20 bugs out there. And when I read that 20 times in a row, I start wondering, wait, what's the story, right? Because it happens quite a lot. But yeah, I think achievements are important in this case.
Yeah, and I think that's a very good way, perhaps, for also looking at it. So that might be some, another reason for some people who thought, oh, I don't want to level anymore, to think actually that might be a really good reason to start leveling something. Do you think you'll be leveling a lot of alts in Shadowlands?
I guess I will try to finish Alliance, but
okay.
I will do it off stream just so nobody knows. Okay.
Like a dirty little secret.
Yeah. Like a free time activity.
Fair enough. Okay. How do you feel about the factions now that we have, and I use that word peace very freely because we all know how it works in World of Warcraft, but how do you feel about the two factions now and where they stand?
I think it's great to have peace, and I would be glad to keep it going forward, because everything needs to evolve, and if you just do this, like this is the discussion quite a lot, that it's just the same over and over. There's peace, there's war, peace, war, the same thing. I think if we keep peace now, and they implement it into mechanics, I think it would be cool. And I can give you a perfect example of this. What they did a couple of years ago in Star Wars is that they pretty much had the similar story where Republic and Empire had to unite against one enemy, and what they did, you still cannot pretty much go to the homeland of the other faction, but when you queue for a dungeon or PvP, you get mixed with the other faction. So I think if they really tried, maybe they could do something like that in WoW. I think that would be great, but once again, I don't know. I'm very bad with ideas. I'm gonna be honest, because well, I'm not a game developer. I don't know what they are capable of. I don't know what they can do mechanics-wise. It's up to them. They are getting paid for it. I'm not, so I'm not gonna give them any too much ideas. But yeah, I think that would be great. Something like that.
Yeah, and I like the idea of that everything needs to evolve. And you know, I think we've all laughed about, oh yeah, there's peace now, but how long? And then we'll fight against a common enemy and then against each other. And so actually that is a really nice thought of thinking of how to evolve this really to make it a bit interesting again, I guess.
Yeah, because like now that they released Classic, you can just relieve the quote war in Classic. You can just see it there. And I think if you push it a bit forward, like, well, there's a reason why we don't have War Chief now. That didn't work out. And I think if you get... this is what I like, by the way. I like the fact that there's no War Chief. There is just a council now. But... yeah, because it's an evolution. It's moving forward. And I think that's important in any game, any story.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you with that. Okay, so let's jump into the community. And you've already said that community is a big thing what you do for your stream, but what has the Warcraft community meant to you?
Well, good and bad things.
Okay.
So let me start with the good ones. Good ones is you need, no matter what content you are doing, you need to find like-minded people. As long as you find people who share the same kind of goals, the same thing they want to complete as you, that's fine. That is, and that's the reason why when you are a raider or something, of course you go into a raiding guild and you are having fun. But it's a little bit more difficult if you are a collector. When you collect things, you don't really know. There are no rarely there are guilds about collecting. It's mostly like social leveling guilds, which are, I'm not sure if you noticed, but those guilds are usually, they have 1,000 people and there's nobody online. So but the moment you find them, because this is something that I struggled with in this game actually. I always struggled to find people who shared the same goals in the game. And now streaming allowed me to do it, to find these people, because if somebody comes to the stream, the person sees, oh, you're from EU or you're a collector, yeah, I would like to do that as well. Can I join you? And that is why we created a community as well, because we just want to do things together. I think it's much better. So this is where the community shines, in my opinion. You just have to find like-minded people, and that's all.
And I like that. I like it that it's a completely different, because not a lot of people would say that a stream would actually create a community like that. I think we, as people who watch streams, I think we've seen far too much like toxicity with certain streamers, and that can be in all games really. So it is actually nice to see that there is something like, there are streamers out there who do things with the community and keep them active. Because I know of a few streamers who also do dungeon runs with their viewers, which I think is really nice to actually have that interaction.
Yeah, the thing is, I consider myself as a streamer. Well, it's been over 2 years now, right? On and off. And I consider myself to be kinda an outcast, so to speak. Like against the grain. I don't really... I love connecting with people who are, like I said, with similar goals, which applies to Twitch as well. Ever since the start, I liked connecting with smaller streamers. And that kind of transitioned to the game as well. That not only community-wise on Twitch, but community-wise on World of Warcraft, I don't mind connecting with the players who do the same things.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really cool. I like that a lot. So I definitely feel like people need to join your stream and join your community.
Feel free to join my community.
Okay, so something completely different. What is your favorite in-game food?
Okay, does it have to be a food that gives you some sort of a buff? Or it
No.
Okay, so I have a very good choice for this, and I have a very good story for this.
Okay.
It is a coconut milk.
Okay.
Yes, and the reason for that is because, as I mentioned, I got very unlucky with mount drops. I feel like I have some sort of a curse around me. And one person from the community was so kind to help me that we found this ritual on the internet, how to break curses. And a main part of the ritual is that you need a coconut. It's just the problem is I couldn't find any coconuts in World of Warcraft. The only thing that I found was coconut milk. And the way we did it was that I, as the cursed one, was sitting on a stool or something like that. And you're supposed to run around the cursed one 3 times. You're supposed to do 3 circles with the coconut. Except, well, like I said, the problem is that there's no coconuts to hold in World of Warcraft. So he drank it, so to speak. He didn't get any buff, but, well, I mean, it's a weird roleplay, okay? So he drank it, and he ran around me 3 times around my character. I said a spell, and the biggest problem was at the end, that at the end you have to break the coconut. And now what do you do when you have a person who drank the coconut milk? So technically you can consider that person to be a coconut. And what we did was that we were in air on flying mounts or something like that. And basically he just dismounted and he jumped down to his demise. But you can consider that like breaking, because technically he broke his character. And he was a coconut himself. But yeah, so probably that's why. The thing is, the ritual didn't really help. I think we did something wrong, but we will surely try next time. So
I think persistence
surely next time it will work for sure.
Exactly. I love the creativity. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Nux, we've reached the last question of the podcast, which is, what is your whisper? And for those who are new, I always explain this. So the whisper is my failed little experiment question, but basically it can be anything. So a whisper could be what you wish for in the game, something that you want implemented or something happen, or maybe you want any game mechanics you want back or taken out. Bit of fairy crafting, maybe something you want to see happen in the story. So anything like that. So Nux, what is your whisper?
I'm gonna say something that a lot of people will probably agree with, and I'm gonna say better drop rates, especially of the mounts. Because,
so increased drop rate.
Yeah, because it is very depressing to, for example, what just recently happened is that you probably know about the spawn of Soundless. You probably know that the spawn of the rare is not really that often. Apparently, reportedly, it should be around 6 to 8 hours or something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And a couple of days ago, I successfully managed to camp the rare. It's just the problem is that I formed a group for it. I think we were full. We were at least minimum 40 people or something like that. Totally full group. And now we did count people who were just like passing by, they didn't know what is happening. And you have so many people going for a rare. We kept polymorphing the rare for at least 15 minutes just because we were waiting for everybody to get there. Like we wanted everybody to have a chance on the mount. And then once everybody got there, we killed Soundless, and the problem is that nobody got the mount. Like, just the disappointment. Like, on one hand, I understand that there should be things that are rare in the game. It's just there's been a lot of discussion about World of Warcraft and social aspect and everything recently, and this is something that brought people together, but then you don't get the reward, so that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I agree with you, and especially like you say, you know, it brings people together. It should reward something and not punish you for it. So yeah, I completely agree with you, and I think like things like raids and stuff, you should still be able to loot mounts and things like that. It's a shame. That's really a shame. Okay, that's a very good one. Well, we've come to the end of the interview. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Once again,
if people wanna,
thank you for having me.
It was great. So if people want to find you on the internet and want to be part of your community, where can they find you?
Okay, so on Twitch, it's I'm just called Nuxus. On Twitter, I'm Mr. Nuxus, so you can follow me there. Maybe on YouTube, I'm called Nuxus there as well, but I don't have a custom URL. Just because I don't have enough subscribers for it, so you would have to search for the name. But yeah, that's about it. I mainly stream. I'm like I said, I'm live pretty much every day, except Sunday. I have a joke that Sunday is the day of our Lord, so no streams on Sunday, except even though I don't believe. But hey, you gotta take a break sometime.
Yeah, you have to rest at some point.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, very, very cool. And I will make sure that all those links are in the show notes for everyone to follow you on. But thank you so much again for taking the time and being an amazing guest.
Thank you for inviting me.
So I hope you enjoyed that interview. It was lovely talking to Nux, and let's jump into Twitter. And the question of the week was this time, I want to hear your best Warcraft community stories, so guild stories or random encounters in a dungeon or out in the world, and anything that brought you joy, and what the Warcraft community has meant to you. So you guys replied. Bricko said, recently while leveling my prot Dark Iron Dwarf, I had a dungeon finder group that chatted and were very engaging. I explained I was new to warrior tanking after a misstep, and everyone said not to worry, and added me to their friends list. We had a blast, and I think that is really good. I'm really happy that you got a good group, because I think we've all experienced how people can be, how impatient people can be. So yeah, I'm happy that you had a good group, and I hope that you are enjoying tanking a lot more now, and that you've not build up the skills, but you know, that you don't have to keep saying, oh, I'm new, and that you have all the skills now. So Kaber76 said, lately I've actually had positive and calm LFG dungeon groups. In my opinion, that's always a great random encounter. It's like the sun is shining down on you when you can find a group that runs smooth with no drama and completes the dungeon. This community is always at its best. Because it stays united over the subject of Warcraft. I like that about WoW and the community. No matter who we are or what we do, this game brings us all together. I think those are very, very wise words, and yeah, you're right. I do like it that we all have something in common that we enjoy, which is Warcraft, and if you don't enjoy Warcraft, then I don't think you should be playing it anymore. I don't understand people who are really negative and then keep doing it. It's like, this is not a job, you're not getting paid for it. Why do you do something that you don't enjoy? So yeah, I always find that odd. And Charactercraft said, myself, Rig, and a friend went on a guild meetup, got incredibly drunk as it was dull, made fools of ourselves, and then my friend slept with the guild leader. Ooh. It was a funny and memorable day, to say the least. Okay. Well, at least you have fun memories, so that's a good thing, I guess. I've heard many of these stories with stuff that happens with guild meetups, so okay. It could have been much worse, and as long as you had fun. So that's it. That was the Twitter question, and I was a bit late with it, in all fairness. I've posted this like 2 days up before I was going to record, so that's on me. But I am going to leave with that for this week. So if you want to find the show, or if you want to be a guest, you can find and reach out in the following ways to me. Go to whispersofwar.podbean.com for all the shows and the show notes and all those links that you need to click. Then go to dragonpoweredstudio.com/Discord to be part of the best community out there at all, which is of course the DPS. We are a fun bunch, as I like to say. Twitter at whispers_of_war to follow the Twitter account for the show, and my personal one is McMonkeys with a Z. You can always email the show if you have a longer story or anything else that you want to discuss. whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com, and my Twitch is twitch.tv/McMonkeys with 2 Zs. And that was it. So I hope that you guys all have a lovely weekend. And I don't know if it's sunny out there with you guys, but at the moment it's very... we have one day that is now sunny, and I think it's going to be rain for the rest of, I don't know, the year. So enjoy yourselves, and yeah, I'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.
This show is brought to you by Dragon Powered Studio. Find more at dragonpoweredstudio.com.